crafty friends, welcome back. I said that I would show you some things that I'm going to be doing with these painted papers, inky papers that I did the other day, and I'm going to start off with the favourite bit that I like. So as I mentioned in the previous video, I love these edges where they're all bibbly bobbly, you know, so like a bit of a splatter. So what I'm going to do first of all is I'm going to make some strips just of the edge pieces that I really like. Now this one I'm going to do the whole page. This one I'm just going to be doing around these two edges here. Now I've got a steel rule, and so I'm just going to place that on there and then rip it off. Okay, so that will be one of the strips that I'll utilise. Now I'm going to do the next strip with, I'll just show you it up close, this jagged edge, and there's two edges to it. So there's this one which is real extreme and this one which is a bit more subtle. So I'll do this one with the bit more subtle edge. So that you end up, focus, there we go, bit more of a jagged edge, which opens up the fibres of the paper, which means that when you ink the edge of these papers, it will just absorb the ink a little bit more. And then I've got the We Are Memory Keepers tear guide, and this again has got a subtle edge and a very jagged edge. So again, we'll do it with the subtle edge, and at the moment I'm doing sort of about 1/2 inch wide, 3/4 of an inch wide, and you'll see from both edges of the paper now. So this was from the metal rule that I'd got, and this one was from the We Are Memory Keepers rule, and there's not a lot of difference between the two, but you can see it's giving me some really nice edges, and I can do them wider. I don't have to do them all around about 1/2 inch. So we'll do that on all of this page, and I'll show you in a moment how I'm actually going to be utilising these. We'll do that one about there. About there. Because I want to show you what I'm going to do with this one in a moment. Okay, so again, we're going to do this one, and I'm going to make this one about 1 inch wide. Okay. All those to one side. So these are all now sort of cut and ready to ink up the edges. Now they're straightforward, so we'll put them to one side, but these two I want to use one of my border punches with this. So let's do this one first. I'll line it up with the edge there, push it up to the top. Line the pattern up on this side. Now line the pattern up on this side. And I end up with a piece of paper. so that you can see the pattern a bit better. So I end up with this really lovely patterned piece, and it's got the pattern of the paper on it. Now again, I would need to ink this up to make it sort of stand out a little bit more, because the pattern of the punching gets a little bit lost. So I'm going to ink some of these up, and I'm going to do the same with this one. And again, you can see the effect of not only the patterned paper itself, but the patterned edge of the punch. And again, I would need to ink this up to just define the pattern a little bit more. So how would I use these in a journal? So I've got this piece here that I've already done, and I can stick that on the back of this page here. And I could use all of it or part of it to just give a really pretty edge to the edge of a plain piece of paper. Okay, with this one I've got this piece folded over, which I could leave so that it flips back open, but I could also stick that down. And I've got a couple of pieces here to show you, so I could stick it either on the top or I could stick it underneath to just form a little bit of a pretty border on the edge. And then this one, this is a pocket here, and so what I could do, I'm just going to slip this under for now so that you can get an idea. I could actually add this paper then onto the edge of a pocket so that it makes the pocket really pretty. I'll bring it up a bit closer for you to see. So it's just a nice way of using these strips of paper. So they're almost like a bit of a washi tape sort of thing, really. But yeah, I like, as I say, I like these little mottled edges, and that's what I'm going to be using them for. On to the next idea. What I've done is I've put together all the inky papers, and I've just grouped them together by just wrapping a band around them so that they're all of similar sort of colours. Now I want this one, which is the orangey one, and I want this one, which is the green one. It just makes it easier to identify what sort of colours. Let me just see if there's any in there I want. I'll maybe do those later on my own. So I'm going to use the orangey ones and the green ones for now, but it just makes it easier for me to identify them. And then again, looking at the punches again, I've got two Stampin' Up leaf punches, which I can use with the green paper. Let's just take the top one out and crack on. Now what I would actually do, because I'm punching these out, I actually need to put a piece of book paper on the back. It could just be a scrap piece of paper, but if I try and punch out of this, it's too thin, it's too flimsy, so I actually need to make this stronger. So I've got my piece of book page, and I'm just going to use my stick glue to just glue around the four edges and then through the middle, making sure that I've coated all of it, because I don't know where the punch is going to land, so I want to make sure that this piece is stuck completely to this, and then I can place this piece on top. I'm going to leave this to dry for just a couple of minutes, just to make sure that they've really bonded together and made nice contact, so that it gives me a firm page. I don't want to punch it right now because that glue is kind of wet underneath. So I will leave this for a couple of minutes and then I'll be back. With these punches, I like to work my way across the page, and I actually turn my punch over so that I can see where I'm placing it, and off we go on a punching spree. So I can make sure that this edge here, I'm lining it up as close to this as I can so that I'm not wasting too much paper. And then I'll cut across and start all over again. So making sure that it's all lined up nicely. Punch. And then trim off that excess again. Do it with this one. Same again, upside down. And I can even turn this now upside down and get in between these spaces here to be able to utilise the paper as much as I can, and even put it at a slight angle if needs be. And then I end up with a lovely selection of multicoloured leaves with the print in the background as well, which will give it that extra textural effect. Okay, so then I do the same but with my flower punches. So here's one, I've already stuck the paper on the background, and with these I work my way around the edge of the page, trim off the excess, and then go around the page again. Again, I have it upside down, but this time what I want to do is I want to leave a little bit of space between each flower. The reason why I leave the space is that I've now got almost like a punched out border, so I can trim that off and then get a little piece of paper. I can use that then as a border, maybe on top of a pocket or again down the edge of a page. And I've also then got a nice selection of flowers. Now with the flowers themselves, what I'm going to do with these is I've got some gold stickles. I'm going to put some stickles in the middle, a fairly generous amount. Now I could leave them at that, but I'm not gonna. Not gonna do that, because then I'll add some gems on top. Right in the middle of the stickles, so that the stickles now extends beyond that little gem. So the stickles now also acts as a bit of glue, so that I end up with a nice selection of painty paper flowers, and it gives a really lovely effect and makes them look a little bit more realistic. So those are the punches that I'm going to be using on my inky papers. Now on to the next one. Next thing I want to show you is about stamping on these pages. Now I've got the Stampin' Up! Butterfly Gala, but I also got the punch as well to go with it. So again, using my StazOn ink, stone grey, because as I say, I don't particularly always like a solid black background, and these are what I want to use in this next project that I'm going to be working on. Take the glare off there. Okay, and I love these pages because the colours coming in the butterfly just make it look that much more realistic. So if I put that in there, line it up, bunch, and we end up with these beautiful multicoloured butterflies. So I'm going to go off and go and do some of those, and then I'll be back. So as you can see now, I've got a host of beautiful butterflies. Now I'm going to use my glossy accents, but there's no reason why you couldn't use your embossing powders on these. Even with the printed, even with the stamped, I should say, part of the design, you could do embossing on the stamped part, or you can emboss the whole part with the embossing powders. But for me, I'm just going to use my glossy accents, and I like a nice thick even coat, and I try and keep an even kind of pressure on the bottle and a continuous movement, so that I don't get any or only a few air bubbles, because that's one of the problems with this, is that you get air bubbles sometimes. So it's just about keeping it even and running it round, taking it up to the edge. Oh, I managed to get one without any air bubbles in, I think. And making sure that I've got some in the middle, because I then want to place a little safety pin in the middle. And whilst the glossy accents is sticky, it means that the safety pin will stick inside, or on top of, I should say, the butterfly. So come on, play nicely. Why do I talk to inanimate objects? They can't hear me. So I'm just going to place. Did you see that one spring off? Come on. And that's going to sit on top of there and sink into the glue, and that will now become the body. Let me just show you up close. I can lift this bit of paper up without them flying off everywhere. I don't know whether you can see that okay. So it's now got that safety pin in the middle of it. So let's do a bluey green one. Oh, no, I want to do one of these. Let's do that one. Again, nice even pressure and continuous contact with the paper. It's as soon as you lift it up is when you are likely to get air bubbles. Yeah, I've got one there, so I'll run it off. So it's just about learning when to press the side of the bottle to get the glue out, and when to just keep running it round. Got a big air bubble there. Come on, out you go. Okay, oh, a little bit on the head, because otherwise the safety pin won't stick. Okay. Pesky little blighter. Come back. There we go. I want to sit down. There we go. Just notice there's a bit there missing, so let's see if I can just add. Let me just prick that bubble. There we go. And these are the ones that I want to use in the journal that I'm going to be making at the weekend. So you can see it creates a lovely effect once you've put the safety pin on top of it, and you've got that lovely shine to it as well. So I would need to leave those probably overnight. They'll probably be drier later on this evening, but I'm going to leave them overnight just to make sure that they are definitely all nice and cured. Okay, there's going to be some pictures at the end of some of the things that I've created with some of these pages. So I'll see you in the next video. Thanks ever so much for joining me, and I hope that it makes you go and have a look at your stash, at your stamps, at your punches, and being able to utilise them with these particular pages. All right, see you again soon. Bye for now. Bye.